Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. Time for a quick traffic court clip with Judge McDreamy George. This isn't the first time I've shared a video where someone mentions they don't know how to pull over for a cop. Difficult, I know. But let's be nice to the kid. Not about that part. It's about his hair. He just moved. Obviously his hairbrush is packed away in a box. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
9, State of Ohio versus Kyle Kozlowski. Mr. Kozlowski, can you hear us there? Mr. Kozlowski, can you hear us there?
Yes, now I can hear you. Thank you.
We're scheduled for a speeding trial in this matter today. Did you wish to have a trial today, Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mrs. Morse here on behalf of the Law Director's Office. Mr. Kozlowski is participating via Zoom without an attorney. Mrs. Moore, would you like to make an opening statement?
We'd waive, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Kozlowski, would you like to say anything before we begin?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Moore, you may call your first witness.
Thank you. I call Trooper Evans to the stand.
Private Attorney. Remain standing and raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give in this case now being heard to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God or perjury. Yes, sir. Have a seat, sir. State your full name, spell your last name.
It's Trooper Jeffrey S. Evans, and it's E-V-A-N-S.
And state your business address.
It's 2829 West Dublin Granville Road in Columbus.
Thank you.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Trooper Evans, how long have you been with the State Patrol?
I've been with the State Patrol for approximately 13 years.
Okay. And what are your current duties with the State Patrol?
Current duties, currently assigned to the Aviation section, so I enforce the traffic laws from the air over the different airspeed zones across the state, and will help with any type of pursuits or searches that may happen that day.
And how long have you been flying for the State Patrol?
I've been flying for about 7 years now for the State Patrol.
Okay. And how long have you been a pilot?
Since 2018.
Okay. And were you on duty for the State Patrol on December 6, 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And what shift were you working that day?
That day I was working an 8 to 4 shift.
Okay. And were you operating a plane over an airspeed zone?
Yes, I was working the airspeed zone over Interstate 70, approximately milepost 132 in Licking County of Ohio.
Okay. And what kind of plane were you flying that day?
I was flying a high-wing aircraft. It's called a Cessna 182.
And it is marked with the State Patrol emblem?
Yes, it's marked with a flying wheel on the back left of the airplane and right side of the airplane, and it says State Patrol on the top.
Okay. Now, is there a way that you can check vehicle speeds traveling on the highway via airplane?
Yes, so we have stopwatches that we use, and then there's markings on the roadway that are also on the road that are 2x4 markings. They're typically about a mile long. As far as the zone itself, they can be longer, but typically they're about a mile. And then they are set at a 4-quarter increments, so they're 13, 20 feet long. And then we will use the stopwatches to use those watches to start and stop the vehicles as they're going through the zones.
Okay. And the markings that you talk about on the roadway, when a car reaches that, is that when you hit your stopwatch?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how do you make sure that those watchers are working accurately?
So we have 2 checks that we do. So on the 15th approximately of each month, we will do a timing function of the watches. We'll make sure that the watches are working properly as their timing function. And that consists of monitoring a signal from the atomic clock, which is in Boulder, Colorado, which is the most accurate timekeeping device in the world. We will make sure we start and stop those watches on a 2-minute interval. And then if those watches are not to be found within inside the tolerances of 1 plus 1 second, then we will go ahead and take those watches out of service and essentially throw them away. If we do not replace the batteries, we'll get a new watch from a supervisor. And there's also a calibration check to make sure that the watches are the mathematical function is working properly. Those watches are compared to each other, and then they have to match exactly to a chart that we have. And those watches are ran for approximately 16 seconds. And if those watches are found to be out of the tolerances as well, we'll take those watches out of service, and we will essentially throw them away and get a new watch from a supervisor.
Okay. And were the watches checked on the date in question?
Yes.
And when were they checked?
They were checked on that day. They were checked at 1300 hours and at 1505 hours.
Okay, and were they working properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you stated that you were flying a plane over Interstate 70 on the day in question.
Yes.
Was this area located in Licking Township, Licking County, state of Ohio?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the speed limit on I-70 there?
It's a posted 70-mile-an-hour zone.
And at approximately 3 p.m., what brought your attention to a vehicle traveling on that roadway?
There was a vehicle that was traveling above the posted speed limit, or observed the posted speed limit, and appeared to be traveling a lot faster than the other traffic.
So what did you do?
On this specific day, I noticed a white vehicle that was traveling in the left lane through the entire zone. I started the watch as the vehicle entered entered the second quarter, and I was able to check the speed at 97 miles an hour, and then he continued through the zone, still in the left lane at 93 miles an hour for that third quarter. And then that very last quarter, he slowed down to 85. And that's when he exited the zone. And then I radioed down to the ground units to make sure we got the traffic stop.
Okay. Were there any weather conditions that day that would interfere with your view of the roadway?
No.
Okay. So once you checked the vehicle speed, what did you do then?
Once I checked the vehicle speed and confirmed that I had the correct vehicle, I did not lose sight of the vehicle throughout the entire zone. I radioed down to the ground units and let them know the vehicle was exiting the zone, let them know that what the speed was and the time, and then I talked a trooper onto that vehicle and conducted a traffic stop with him.
Okay. And after you had clocked the white vehicle, did you follow it all the way to the stop?
Yes. So that vehicle, I never lost sight of that vehicle throughout the entire zone. Never lost sight of it while talking to trooper on the vehicle, and never lost sight of it while it went to the right shoulder. And that's when the trooper made his traffic stop on it.
And did you confirm with the trooper that he had the correct vehicle?
Yes, I confirmed with him that he had the right vehicle on the correct vehicle on the right shoulder. Gave him the time and the speed of what we were going to take enforcement action.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Kozlowski, you have any questions for the trooper?
No, I would mostly corroborate his story, other than that I do not believe I was actually in the left lane at any point. I was in the center lane throughout this, because I remember being passed from the left lane.
Do you have any questions for the trooper?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, you may step down. May call your next witness.
I call Trooper Miller to the stand.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give in this case now being your truly truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
I do.
Have a seat. State your full name, spell your last name.
Trooper Brian Miller, Miller, 3855 Outville Road, Granville, Ohio, 43023.
Thank you, sir.
May proceed.
Thank you. Trooper Miller, were you working an airspeed zone on December 6, 2024?
I was.
And on that day, were you wearing a uniform like the one you're wearing today?
I was.
Were you operating a marked cruiser with a working visible light bar?
I was.
And are you familiar with that airspeed zone?
I am.
Okay. Have you worked it before?
Many times.
Okay. And have you had a chance to measure the lines in the airspeed zone?
I have.
And how did you do that?
Both with roll tape and with laser and with our, odometer tracking system in our cruiser.
And are they at least 1,320 feet apart?
They are.
Okay. Now, on the date in question at approximately 3 p.m., did you receive a message from Trooper Evans, who was flying an airplane above the airspeed zone?
I did.
And as a result of that message, what did you do?
As Trooper Evans guided me to the vehicle as it came out of the airspeed zone, I proceeded to get behind the vehicle, activated my overhead light bar, and initiated a traffic stop of the vehicle in question. Trooper Evans confirmed when I was behind the correct vehicle, when the correct vehicle was going to the shoulder, and when I had the vehicle stopped. He then confirmed or validated the time of the violation and the exact speed of the violation.
Okay. Did you approach the vehicle?
I did.
And did you have a chance to speak with the driver of that vehicle?
I did.
And was he identified as Kyle Kozlowski?
He was.
And I know he's not in the courtroom here today, but do you see him on the screen in front of you?
I do.
Does that appear to be the same person that you stopped in the vehicle on the day
It
in
does.
question? And did you advise him of the violation?
I did.
Do you recall any conversation you had with him about
I
that?
don't recall. I think he may have questioned. He didn't think he was going that fast, but I don't recall the specifics of the conversation.
And was he then issued a citation?
He was.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Kozlowski, you have any questions for the trooper?
No questions other than to thank him for his patience, because I was very confused as to how to pull over because it never happened before, but he was a very patient professional about it, so thank you for that.
You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else today, Mrs. Moore?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Okay. Mr. Kozlowski, would you like to testify today?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Please
Yeah.
raise your right hand. You swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in the case now being heard shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You want to tell me what happened?
Yes. No, I was driving into center lane throughout this, following traffic around me. There was a car to the left of me that was going my speed or faster, and I was
Hold on a second,
confused
Mr.
by my
Kozlowski.
speed because of this.
Are you able to turn your microphone up for us there?
Sorry, I just moved, so everything is a bit chaotic over here. But yeah, is this any better?
That's a little better, yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just speak
Yeah.
up for us.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Okay. Okay. Yes, I was driving in the center lane, following traffic around me, and there was a car in the left lane next to me that felt like it was going about my same speed, and this was my first time driving in a long time, so I just kind of was focusing on the road and matching the speed around me, trying to, drive well since it had been a while. So I do not disagree with the officers beyond me being in the center lane. And mostly coming out today because I've never been stopped before and kind of wanted to see the proceedings, as well as ask if there were any possibility for leniency or a charge to be reduced, since this is my first violation and I've never been in a situation before.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say today?
That is all, Your Honor.
Okay. Mrs. Moore?
No questions.
Okay. Any other evidence you'd like to present today, Mr. Kozlowski?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mrs. Moore, anything in closing?
We'd rest on the evidence, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Kozlowski, do you want to say anything in closing?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Based on the evidence presented here today, I find you guilty of speeding. That's a $64 fine and court costs. Any questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.